Automatic stabilizers. So we're going to talk about this. This is something I just saw on Newsweek yesterday, and I thought it was pretty interesting because now we have a group that is talking about these automatic stabilizers. And we've talked about automatic stabilizers before on this show. Last year, politicians were bringing up this automatic stabilizers. This is how we could provide stimulus checks or provide enhanced unemployment to the American people. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please hit the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. Okay, so let's take a look at this Newsweek article here. And the headline is Automatic Stimulus Checks. White House senators weigh economic triggers for future relief. So what this would mean, and let's talk a little bit about it before I show you some more of the details. But what this would mean is that depending on the economy, you can depend on the jobs numbers or what have you. We just saw jobs numbers come out yesterday, and they were not good. And so we might think that we're doing a lot better than what we actually are. There's different reasons. You have different politicians coming out and saying, you have some politicians coming out and saying, well, that's because the enhanced unemployment is giving people too much money and they don't want to go back to work. So that's one argument. You have other politicians saying, look, things have changed, and you have some people that are choosing not to go back to work right now because they're still taking care of the kids. Not all kids have been able to go back to school. And so there are a lot of different things that are going on right now. And also the talk of the wages. We're talking about increasing the minimum wage. Some people are looking at some of these same jobs and they're thinking, you know what? I need to move into a different type of work, because if I'm an essential worker or if I'm a worker that is really affected by pandemics, then maybe I want to get another job where I have a little more flexibility, where I can work in the office, but I can also work from home. All these different things are opening people's eyes to the fact that maybe I should be looking for a different type of employment. Maybe I shouldn't be going back to that same job because it's risky at this point. We could be facing another pandemic anytime in the future. And do you want to put in another 10 years into a job where you're just waiting for that next pandemic to happen, and then you'd be out of a job? So investing in your future, if you're investing in your future, you might be looking towards some other types of opportunities when it comes to work. Okay, so let's go back to the stabilizers here. Now, what they're doing, we have the Economic Security Project, and they briefed. Now, understand this. Right now, they're only briefing staff members from the Senate Finance Committee. Okay, so they're just briefing the staff members. They're not briefing senators, okay, as well as Joe Biden's administration. They're briefing staffers there. So they're not talking to the actual politicians. They're just talking to the staff members. The staff members will relay this information back to the politicians. And if the politicians like what they hear, then they'll start talking about it. But we haven't gotten to that point yet. And so we're talking about both stimulus checks and enhanced unemployment. So depending on the economy, and this would all have to be figured out as far as what would trigger this. But the way the stabilizers work, if the economy is doing bad, then these stabilizers will come in place, and then people would receive stimulus checks, people would receive enhanced unemployment automatically. We wouldn't have to wait for politicians to figure out if they wanted to vote for it or against it. Automatically, these stabilizers would come into place, and automatically people would receive those stimulus checks or the enhanced unemployment. Now, this is a good thing because it will avoid politicians grandstanding or politicians putting things on pause. And we saw how this happened in the last stimulus packages. We saw that there was a huge delay from the CARES Act, the first stimulus checks that people received, to the second round of stimulus checks. You received the first one in March of 2020. The second stimulus check didn't come until December. People didn't actually receive that check until in January. So you saw how long it took for politicians to come together and try to agree upon something. So if you have the stabilizers in place, automatically that stuff will happen depending on how our economy is doing. So this is something I think could work. And I want you to understand, this is not saying that you're going to get another stimulus check. Okay. This is not saying that they are going to extend enhanced unemployment even further down the road. All this is saying is that if the economy gets bad, let's say 3-4 years down the road, the economy has a downturn and it goes down, we go back into a recession. That's when those automatic stabilizers would come into play, and that's when you would receive those stimulus checks and the enhanced unemployment. So we might not see anything when it comes to another round of stimulus checks, but the stabilizer would give us insurance in case the economy goes in the wrong direction. So I think this is, and the talk is that they want to add this to either American Families Plan or the American Jobs Plan, these infrastructure bills that they're looking at right now. And I think this is something that could potentially happen. Okay, so you're not going to receive a stimulus check. I want to make that clear. You're not going to receive a stimulus check unless the economy is doing really bad, and that's when this trigger would happen. So the way that I'm looking at this is one of those situations where you could add this to one of those infrastructure bills, and it's not going to cost anything as of right now. Now, if it were triggered, we're talking about it could be $850 billion that it could cost, because we're talking about both enhanced unemployment as well as the stimulus checks, and they cost about the same, about $425 billion for each. And so we'll have to follow it and see where it goes. But this is good news if the senators do take this up and they say, look, this is something that I think we should get behind at the very least. So if they're not going to go for another round of stimulus checks, at least they could put these stabilizers in place. And this is one of those situations where you can contact your congressperson and let them know, I think this is something that needs to at least be, the language needs to be in this bill. It's not going to cost anything. Okay, it will not cost anything unless we're in a situation where our economy is so bad, we need to have something to stimulate the economy. And then it will balance everything out, and it gives businesses a little more assurance when it comes to the economy. They could rest assured knowing that if things were to get really bad, then we'd be in a situation where money would be coming. Stimulus would be coming to help those businesses. So I want to know what you guys think about this, so please leave a comment below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.